Well, hello there, Poe. I believe it is Poe. My name is Joko Mingalaba. Your name looked to be Myanmar, and sure enough, when I looked at your profile, you're my home sister. Okay, well, I'm not Myanmar. I'm American, but I live here and have been for some time, and where I teach English, and I'm an IELTS instructor. Well, actually, mostly nowadays, I'm an administrator. I've joined the management team, but I enjoy my work. Which includes working on IELTS stuff, and I'm not going to tell you the name of my school because I don't represent them here today in any way. I'm just doing this in my own free time. And you have chosen this question from Cambridge 14, number one, that I've read many times, and I've never read it in any other way than, well, no, maybe one time. There was one guy, well, no. The question is, right, you wrote this yesterday, and the reason it's being reviewed is it was waiting for me in here. You read instructions, perhaps. Okay, and the question is, can I move this? Yes. It's this one. We'll let the computer do it.
Some people believe that it is best to accept a bad situation, such as an unsatisfactory job or shortage of money. Others argue that it is better to try and improve such situations.
Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Han Tun singing in the background here. Bum bum bum. I will make it up to you. Okay, so to start, I put your essay into wordcounter.net, and I posted it on your question, and noticed, these red ones here, these are grammar errors that the computer can recognize. If you've been able to figure them out, I would suggest you stop this video and look at these first and see what you can do to fix them before I tell you what they are. So pause the video now. Okay, so we're back. First of all, I want to point out to everyone that here is someone who's on the cusp of a 7, who has a good level of English and can handle complex sentences. Her grammar is pretty good. It's got the obvious weaknesses, but as good as you, whoever you are. But and as I talked about the last couple of days, vocabulary. She does not try to take down the world with her vocabulary. She does not try to show off. So, lexical, there are very few issues in that regard, and it's a good 7 or 8 in that. Grammar is good as well, but like so many students, your English is good, but your essay writing skills need working on. And on that note, let's get right to it. Let's explain a couple of other things prior to doing that. Number of words, unique words. Unique words are ones that are not repeated at all. 18 sentences, that's a bit, 16 sentences. 38-14, that's a good split. 4 paragraphs. Now, when we look at keyword density, how many times did you use the word situation in the essay? 10. No, not just 10. 14, because you got to put those in situations. I don't know actually if they include those two together, but that's a lot to include situation. And this concerns me here. Should, bad situation. Should, people you can't avoid, but should. IELTS essays are not about should. And this comes to my first point about understanding your national tendencies as a writer. Okay? in Myanmar, and I guess this comes from high school, perhaps, because I see it every day. Well, I mean, every day that I see something like this, where when asked to write an essay about, just for example, we do this in placement testing, right? Put students into their level and like write something about your favorite day that you've had in your life. I mean, what is your most favorite day? And we do that in order to evoke the past tense. And sometimes they start like this. Well, it is true that every human being has a favorite day. And as a human being, I too have a favorite day. We see this every such and such. Every something has this. It's like in high school, they took the academic writing principle of the inverted pyramid, where you start off with a sentence that's very broad in scope, and then you narrow it down to the thesis. That's true in academic writing. But this is an IELTS essay. It's not an academic essay. So this question here. I got to go straight to the first line, because this has always baffled me. Here it is.
It is true that everyone experiences at least a bad time in life.
Everyone experiences a bad time in life. You got to make it universal. Try to avoid pointless statements like this. I mean pointless like it doesn't do anything positive for your essay. It doesn't help you. You will, in the next sentence, be able to introduce the topic. You understand the desire to set up the topic. And you might do that with another sentence that's not, it is true that everyone does this. I know that's what you've learned, because all of my Myanmar students use this same opening line. Everyone does this. It is true that everyone is, and then you narrow it down. But perhaps something more sophisticated, something like, hard times are part of everyone's life. That's simple, short, instead of it is true that. And bad, a bad time. Like one day, a time. All right, so you would just say like times and just forget the A, and bad. Bad and good, bad and good. They use them in the question, true, which is a good reason not to use it, but bad and good are about as simple of adjectives as you can get. And I recommend that you avoid using bad or good, because there are so many other words in the English language that mean bad or good that you can refine your message. Is it challenging? Is it distressing? Is it finds a I think challenging is probably the best word for this topic. Some people believe that. In the question it says, some people believe that. Can't put 4 words in a row from the question. We? I'll come back to that. We should accept this situation. What situation is that? The bad time in life. Okay. Escape. I like that. That's good. Is the better solution. Better solution. See, now there's an example of good collocation. Better and solution go together. Good. Underline means good. Oh, I didn't explain. There we are. So now I've put my color coding in here. These are the band descriptors: task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource and grammar, represented by reddish, purplish, blue, yellow, and green. Okay. Bad, lexical. So many other words for bad. And then here, lexical as well. You're not showing that you know other ways to say this because it's in the question. Underline, good. Again, better is in the question. Better. instead of letting it happen. Now, understanding the question, which we did not actually analyze here, is the first task in your task response score. Understanding the question. Now, the question says, accept a bad situation. Right? Now, preventing a bad situation from happening in the first place is different. Okay, that's what I think you're getting at with this comment of letting it happen. It's already happened. In the question, the person is already experiencing this situation. And so it's not about preventing it, it's about dealing with it. I put the question in here just for references. All right, body paragraph 1. In my opinion, okay, so you've said what every other person I've ever saw on this question has answered. And I had hopes. Being Myanmar, you're probably Buddhist, I don't know. But isn't that what the Buddha preached? You know, accepting bad situations? Okay, no one's ever chosen it. People choose to accept the bad situations. Okay, first grammar point. Put this in big letters. Put it on your wall. It's a very important article rule that everyone always messes up. And that is, when you are talking about plural nouns, plural, situations, S, do not use the definite article, the, when talking about plural nouns and speaking in general. And we are speaking in general here. We're talking about all situations. So not the, but people choose to accept. Just get rid of that. Just strike through. Is that an option? Get rid of it. Bad situations. And bad is yellow because, once again, as I said earlier, good and bad are not very advanced vocabulary-wise. Because they accept. We had accept up here. You know, accept. You could choose something else other than the question. It as. That's good. As a fate. Fate is definitely an uncountable noun. Yeah, fate. Here's a fate. Here's another fate. You can have fate of people, but uncountable. Good things are waiting for them after coming through this tough situation. Aha! Now here is the essence of the type of Buddhism that exists here in Myanmar. It's like, well, I'm poor, I'm in a bad situation, but if I'm a good poor person, then I will be rewarded later on. And I will, this enduring, accepting the tough situation will be rewarded later. Hundreds of millions of people in the world believe this way. Why can't one IELTS candidate write that? Just one. Or, you don't have to accept, you don't have to believe in that, but at least show what they think. And that's what you've done in this first sentence. That is what Buddhists believe. But what do? Do you support this idea? Do you develop this idea and make it go further and say and discuss, talk about that opinion? No. Instead, we go straight into the moreover, which is an introduction to a different point. Okay, why don't you need to develop your ideas? Here's an idea. You presented it. The next thing to do is develop it. Use something like a conditional. If they live a good life in this world, they will be rewarded in their next. Something like that. But no, are you trying hard might be a waste of time in the article there. And time and energy, could. As nothing can, why could? It's not a second conditional. You set it up as a first conditional to reverse the situation. Now, I think you've been looking at some advice online about how to write your IELTS essay. You include a point, you include another point, and then you include an example. My dear, what has led you astray? Why don't you come to my school or we'll teach you right? An example, for example, needs to be about the thing that you're talking about. And I don't mean in general, but like the thing that you were talking about immediately before you said, for example, which was waste of time. For example, if a person has to work in a company where he has no satisfaction except high salary, what does that have to do with a waste of time? All right, let's go on. But he cannot you meant to say quit this position as he has to take care of his financial matters. How about like his family? Okay, this is not an example of there's nothing that can be done. This is not an example of being good in this life will lead you to better things later on. No, this is an entirely different idea. Your examples must be examples of what you're talking about, and not just the paragraph in general. It has to be an example of the last sentence. And talk about a really strange example. Someone who has no satisfaction except for a high salary. Okay. All right. Why do we need... It says in the question, okay, unsatisfactory job or shortage of money. He's got one, but he doesn't have the other. Oh, I'm unsatisfied, but I get paid a lot, so I just have to accept it. Okay, I think I understand why you were trying to say that, which is like someone who earns a salary that is comfortable, but he doesn't like his job. You're stuck there because you don't want to give it up. Except think. So the only way to overcome this kind of stressful condition, it's not stressful, to accept the logic that things happen for a reason. That's underlined because that's a collocation. It's a four-word collocation. And try to avoid burnout situation. Well, what is that? And it should be a burnout situation, perhaps? Or the burnout situation. It needs an article. In addition, you've already presented 3 points in this paragraph. That's too many. And now you're going to give us a fourth. We cannot deny, I can deny, we'll see, I don't even know what it is, but I can deny it, that the ability, an ability to cope with stressful situations and great self-control help to improve our personal growth and maturity. What is this? This is... I'm just going to throw some words in there that I know are high level. Do they fit in the paragraph? No. Do I develop this point? No. What is that? Just get rid of it. No, don't do that. Don't throw something on at the end. As if, moving on. On the other hand, there is also one group. It's not a group. Some people believe something else. But a group implies that that they know each other, that there's an organization, that there's the we shall not give up against hardship group. The tips and tricks page is a group. It's not a group. Saying that we should not give up.
Don't give up, 'cause you have friends. Don't give up, you're not beaten yet.
Okay, back to the review. When life treats us badly, Even bad is showing it into your adverbs. I support, don't need with here. I support this idea. Just get rid of with. Because I believe that we should use this situation. This is it's blue because coherence and cohesion covers referencing. Referencing includes the use of pronouns, and this is a pronoun. You're talking about, a certain, what situation are we talking about? Such as, we should use this situation as a good motivation. You don't need so that it will encourage us to work hard. Okay. Another thing about something that a lot of Myanmar students need to learn about IELTS is that you need to break away from this idea that an essay should be motivational. It should be, an essay about what we should or shouldn't do. This is part of, I think, the old military regime's educational curriculum, which is we should do this, we should do that, and shouldn't do this. My ex-girlfriend, I talked to her about essay writing in high school, and she told me that she won an award at her high school for winning an essay contest. What was the topic, I asked. Why we should not use drugs. That was the topic. You won that? She did. It's about, forget. Point is that along with don't write a motivational essay, don't include we, don't include us, don't include our, you. It's not personal. It's universal. It's academic. It's without personal references. So we should try. We should. Instead of letting us immerse in the negative situations. This is your first instance where you could say be immersed in, but here you sound like you're from India or Pakistan, where you're trying to use big words in the negative and ignoring the consequences. No one talks about that. No one's saying we should ignore the consequences. It is also true that now here you do the same thing you did in the last paragraph, whereas right on the end of the paragraph, instead of nicely bringing everything together that you've talked about in that paragraph, you go astray and throw on something else. No, this has no business being here. It's an extra point that you don't need, that you should not have. In conclusion, different people have different views regarding how to handle the bad situations. And you don't need the, and bad is overused already. In my honest opinion, what else? Are you going to lie? We humans never use humans in an IELTS essay. Humans is for, you might say human beings, but have thrived, survived, and achieved. Oh, wow, that almost rhymes. That's pretty good. I like it. Many different tasks. Not tasks, times, situations. No, don't say situations. You've already said it 14 times. By facing challenging situations and figuring things out as possible, as best we can. What if the best possible solution is acceptance? I must say, no, don't use must say, that we should try hard. We should do this to make the things better. Don't use things. It's too informal, too non-specific, and you certainly wouldn't use the with plural nouns when speaking in general. Well, Poe, on the whole, you have potential to write a good essay, but you have a lot to learn about how to do so.